Hey guys, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to evercrisis. We're going to be talking about Aerith, her new costume, ultimate weapon, and going over a wish list so you guys can make a decision of pulling or not pulling this weapon. I will say in the beginning of this video, it's a yes, pull on the weapon for one copy. And I don't mean you have to pull for a 5-star, literally just do a pull. If you get a 3-star copy, you can use a weapon parts 200 later on to upgrade it, because one copy of this weapon is fantastic for DPS Aerith and support Aerith. This thing is very, very, very good. And I wouldn't want you guys to miss out on this because it does so much just in one go. So let's talk about it and why it's so good. But before we go into the actual banner itself, free draws, do all your free draws. There's volume 1, volume 2 that pops up. Volume 2 just came up right now. But there's a step up banner that it starts off free and it costs money. But the first one is free. And I want to mention this because you can get Aerith's new weapon on the free draw because it is part of it. So if you get really lucky and you get it, it is there. And if you already got a 3-star version off of this, then you're good to go. So I don't think I did. Let me go check. Yeah, so I didn't get one, but double check if you got a 3-star copy. If you did, you could just use your weapon parts to upgrade it, and then you're okay from there, right? Totally worth it. But if not, it is worth going into this banner and hitting up that 6 slot if you really want a guaranteed 5-star and you didn't have any luck here. But looking at this, the stamp sheet, you get guaranteed 1 weapon, 1 costume, and 3 weapons on the next page. And then after that, it's very blind pulling. Do not recommend that. Really recommend just 1 page here if you want to go for the costume. Let's look at her overall. She looks fantastic. This is Terra's sword, but it's actually in a staff form, which is really cool. And everything else came out really nice. I like this one a lot. She could pass for a Terra easily. So if you are a huge fan of both Final Fantasy 7 and 6, definitely worth it. Is the costume worth it is a question. If you have the Monster Hunter costume or the first anniversary costume, you're safe to kind of skip this. When it comes to the Monster Hunter one, it has healing and buff, where this one's got defense, physical, and magic by 15%, along with a buff extension of 60%, which is standalone, and then you can just upgrade it even more from all your weapons. But this is an upgraded version of the Monster Hunter one. If you have the Monster Hunter one, you're still okay, even though healing is only so much in this game, and characters have so much HP that it's almost impossible for a healer to one-cast heal. Actually, it is impossible to get 10,000 heal right now. So it is an upgrade, and when it comes to the first anniversary, where Bahamut gear increases the party members, it adds a lot to the team and just her DPS kit as well. But if you were going to put it for support, I would say that there's only going to be very small moments where you're going to need to survive more than making your DPS stronger. And this gives that 15%. The only thing I can really think of right now is that Ifrit and Bahamut fight on floor 30. If you need if you needed Aerith to survive a little bit more and then change her sub-weapons to help with the rest of the fight instead of trying to survive through sub-weapons, then this costume would be applied instead of the Bahamut one. That way you can upgrade something else in your sub-weapons to help the rest of the team, right? But really, if you've got that whole first anniversary setup and the Monster Hunter one, you're okay to skip this one. If you don't got anything, it's a really good costume. Really good. Survivability and buff duration are great on supports. Now, Terra Rod. This thing is fantastic. 1 copy. You get fire resist, ice resist, thunder resist, all from mid to high for 20 seconds, and it's doing 470,000 to all enemies. It's an AoE weapon that drops down 3 resist. This is going to take place, replace a lot of characters that you currently use for fire resist down, ice resist down, and just even in the future, right? As more of these weapons come out on other characters, Aerith has so much in her kit for healing, support, and she's got DPS kits. So no matter what type of Aerith you're using, this thing's going to be on there. And 1 copy will change because it does allow it all to go to high. So after 2 casts, 8 ATB altogether, 4 for the first, 4 for the second, you get high resist down. And it's very powerful, especially for a healer. So that also comes with our abilities of boost HP 40 points, buff duration 12 points, and you got an all cure down here. So during guild battles, dungeon rankings, if you only need a little bit of curing on your your Aerith and you need her to bring a different weapon in for other damage, or if you're just going for some other support, this allows you to heal while also lowering 3 different defenses and doing some good amount of damage. So at OB6, it all goes to high. So if you actually want to go pretty deep into the banner or try to get lucky or use weapon parts throughout the months or the whole entire year, if you get this OB6, 1 cast is high tier for all 3. And of course, it's going to work on the Kefka fight, but at OB6, good damage, 660%. Not amazing. It's not going to do crazy, but it's really good regardless for what it does already. And it has boost HP at 5427. Fully maxed out. The only difference here is that it goes from 25-second duration to a 35-second duration. So you get 10 seconds more on the duration of those debuffs, and then you add the buff duration and it adds up pretty well, but 25 seconds are already really good. But at fully maxed out, we got 6239 for our abilities. I think this is a fantastic weapon. It even has magic attack at 660, telling you that it is a DPS weapon. So you pair this up with what Aerith already owns. She has the ice damage setup, she's got a fire damage setup, she's just missing a thunder damage setup, but when she gets a thunder setup, she now has a weapon that applies to 3 different DPS builds. And when it comes to her healing setup, you just slap this on with Kimura Rod, Bahamut Rod, whatever you're using, and now you've got a healer that's going to protect the party and speed up DPS. Especially if you're using her new Bahamut Rod, it passively increases magic damage just for equipping it. Right, so Aerith just became one of the most wildest characters because a healer that also imperils very well on both cases is incredible. Because she has a limit break, she has the ultimate weapon that also came with this, and the ultimate weapon is something you definitely want to go for as well because it's strong. It's really, really strong. It's gonna be under the vouchers here. So for 120, raises all these stats just by a little bit. Just below 200, but it restores 30% of max HP, all allies, and it gives 3 ATB gauge to all allies with 2 uses. It's got boost heal and regen boost, which is new, but I just want to emphasize on that 3 ATB. If you do have Bahamut's Rod on top of that, you're going to be doing pretty much hasting the entire party. This is really good. The fact that you can restore 30% of max HP for characters like Angeal, or as your HP gets bigger, that's going to be a decent heal. At 10,000 HP, that's already healing just for 3,000 on its own, not including your limit break on Aerith, because she's a true healer in the game. Her limit breaks reflect that. So you have a limit break that can restore HP, an ultimate weapon that's going to restore HP, and then of course you have your whole entire kit. And then 3 ATB on top of that. Also, regen at the beginning of the fight. Not a huge fan of beginning of the fight, kind of like buffs or debuffs or anything, but it lasts 60 seconds, a whole minute. And if you did those harder content where the fight starts off and you get hit and then you're about to get hit again and there's like not enough time to cast a lot of heals and you have to bring in a second healer, this can help a lot. As long as that 60 seconds makes it into after the first initial hit, it's going to help with that little bit of healing you're missing, right? You go 4,000 heal and then the characters have 10,000, but you got to get back to like 9,000. Those ticks are really good. So you're going to get a lot of healing out of this regen, especially because Aerith is a giant healer, especially with her Bahamut gear. She has like the capability of going above 4,000 healing on her stat. That becomes very, very, very powerful. So ultimate weapon is worth it. And I would have jumped the gun on pulling this right away for the weapon and trying. I probably will, but I'm going to wait for all the other banners to come out. Recommendation is just wait. This is here till December 4th. You have plenty of time. If you don't need it to pass content right now, don't worry about it. I do recommend the 1 pull to get the 3-star or 4-star or 5-star if you're lucky, just to have in your arsenal because it is going to be there and it's going to help her all her kits. But the reason I didn't jump the gun right away is because Vincent's banner is still here for 1 more day, so his weapon and Kate Sif's weapon can't be wishlisted in this. If they just 1 more day, just 1 more day. It did say the crossover is going to be in November, so yeah, because I am trying to max out his weapon, so it kind of sucks, but it shouldn't be the deciding factor for me because even if I put it on the wish list, doesn't mean I'm going to get it. Just a little thing I wanted to give you guys a heads up, Vincent fans out there. If you were planning to pull in the next banner to get them on the wish list, it's not there, and the tickets didn't get updated either. But let's go back into the topic, and the topic is Aerith. Aerith, if you are pulling for her, again, she's got multiple sets when it comes to DPSing. If you want to use it for the fire resist with her fire setup, Ache Staff doing crazy good damage. If you want it for the ice setup, you've got her Snowflake here. It's got 540 magic ice with also lowering defense. And then she does have a thunder weapon, but she doesn't have like thunder. And this is AoE. But if you need to just add some thunder in there, I wouldn't wishlist this though. You don't have to. Just for the R abilities later on, right? 4639 is not totally bad, but it's definitely an outdated weapon. Realistically, if you're using it for support and healing, and you don't have any of the Bahamut rods or the Monster Hunter rod, Mithril rod at OB6 does give you magic defense mid and physical defense mid to all allies. So it's not the greatest compared to what we have now. We have weapons that heal and raise defense or apply other buffs. But if you're someone who doesn't have, that's not a bad option. But you're looking at this, or you can bring in some utility from Citric Rod that brings in ice damage is increased, right? So this combination is really good. Increase ice damage of any ally while also lowering ice damage, and you're also going to increase their magic attack. So full on support Aerith in there with the heal from the actual slot. So you still get to heal, raise someone's ice damage, and lower ice defense all in one kit. So that makes it very, very good. So you got choices. You have very good choices here, and the possibilities are endless now with Aerith. Not endless, but I can't emphasize how cool that like Aerith got that out of her kit. Realistically though, this banner is wishlisting for you. The only thing I recommend is picking up either Kate Sif's, Matt, or Red 13, whatever one you're already working on or other character you're using as a sub weapon. Because having heal at 62 and 26 buff is really good, or you can do it the other way where you can get a healing weapon and a buff duration that's higher. But these three are usually what I use, so my healing stats pretty high and I get enough buff duration from that because the rest of the costumes or kits from the character are usually enough to increase that buff duration. But these three are really good to go for, and then the other one are pretty much HP ones. Like Shark Slayer here has 31 HP but 52 buff duration. That's a really good one to put on there. You've got the other ones as well that have buff duration on it, but with HP, not as good because it's 4639, but if you need more HP. So that's the idea. You need just one copy, because like when you look at my Aerith, and I just finished doing the crash battle with this Aerith, and this is pretty much what I use for sub weapons. Obviously the main hand is her two best weapons in the game, but most of the time you don't need wishlisting that much for a healer, because 2 slots are going to be for the guild weapon to increase magic defense all or physical defense all from its R ability, and the other one is going to be an anniversary weapon that applies boost attack for physical or magical depending on your Aerith, and that's already 2 slots gone. So you only have room for 1 slot, and I usually put healing with buff duration so that I have decent amount of healing, which my healing stat right now is 3800 on this, and then my buff duration is at 80%, which was good enough for that fight specifically. And if you're using her in battle, you might want more buff duration and you just move things around, right? But realistically, 2 slots of your wish list are not going to be used on Aerith, so you might as well just go for what you want on the main hand out of her kit for what you need, and then just wish list your DPS, right? If you're still working on Sephiroth's Edgewing for some reason, you can go for that. But realistically, if it was me, I'd be working on Vincent's weapons. And a high recommendation is pull for weapons that work for everybody, right? The Shockbuster here, really good. Sun Umbrella, weapons that evolve any character. Ultimatic is a very powerful physical one because it has boost attack and has the boost physical ability potency at high R abilities. And you use this on any physical DPS, any element, right? Weapons like this really help team comps, because if you have multiple characters that do water, or ice and ice, there's not enough element weapons, and these are the fillers. So if you look at anyone's builds, they usually have weapons like that. Another good one is Vincent's Huyin and Muyin, 62 boost attack with boost magic ability at 26. Like I was showing you Barrett's Shockbuster, you should put these weapons in between all your builds because they help emphasize those characters' builds, especially when you don't have the element potency. So when it comes to a healer support character, if you already have all that done or you don't need too much, this banner is really good to wishlist your other characters' DPS setups to make it that much stronger. So great banner for that, and just for her character overall. I think it's fantastic. Have fun with this one. I'm getting one copy somewhere down the line, but I do want to wait for all of the banners to be released first before I make a final decision, because I might need all my crystals in one. But Aerith is my go-to girl, so I most likely will be pulling for this banner for the weapon. Still decided on the armor, because I already am someone who has the Monster Hunter and First Anniversary. It might not be worth it for me to go that deep, even though I really like the costume. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to pull for this, skipping on it? And overall thoughts. I think it's amazing. I love it, but again, that's me. I'm an Aerith fan, but her kit doesn't lie. She's so much versatility, especially if you go in for the other limited banners. It just sucks that all the really good stuff is under the limited banners, and that's why I recommend the one copy. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll smell you later.